Hey y'all, Gavin here. Throughout the past week, I've been trying out different decks other than Mitsurugi's to take to Nationals. This past week, I've actually been playing a lot of Blue Eyes. At first, it was a joke, but then I kept winning with it, and it kept cooking Mitsurugi like consistently. So I decided to take it to locals, and I went undefeated. I think this deck is really slept on, and I think there's a lot of cool things this deck can do that others can't. I think this deck being able to play very low to the ground, not losing to any Charmies, and being able to play around Droll really well is fantastic. And yeah, let's hop right into the profile and I can show it off. For the normal summons, I play triple Ether Barrel. The reason why I play 3 of this and why I played a Prime package is 1, Drill Beam is like the craziest card ever. Load is also just very good in order to like get you low to the ground into your engine. There's like numerous ways you can play around Charmies, especially with this card. Like you can normal summon Ether Barrel, then just like tribute it off after you get everything you need to send a Blue Eyes, so that you can start special summoning from graveyard instead of deck. So depending on which Charmy they hit you with, you can like play around. You can choose which one you're playing around. And I think having that option to play around more gives you a lot more skill expression and will actually give you more games in the long run, right? Because you can just full combo your opponent, just kind of like jerk off onto the field, do whatever you want. But as soon as you're able to like put the game into your hands and you're winning because you're playing better, I think this game gets a lot more fun, and I think there's a lot more skill expression, right, that you don't really see in this format, and I think this is the deck that does it the best. So yeah, that's why I think you need 3 of this. Triple Maiden. Maiden is like just a 1-card combo, and I'll go with Triple Sage too. So the combo isn't really that fantastic, you just end on a Spirit Dragon, but 1 level 9 does so much right now, because Spirit Dragon just kind of checks Mitsurugi. And if you have Ether Barrel too, you're able to also check the Ritual spell. So you have like numerous ways to just turn off Mitsurugi. This is basically just like an anti-Mitsurugi deck. Kind of like when I was playing Cashier during Snake Eye, as like an anti-Snake Eye deck. This is the exact same thing, exact same theory. You're playing this deck specifically to counter that one. And you're playing so many non-engine cards that you can like consistently get to ways to beat Malice too. Sage being able to search Veiler is also very good. Maiden being able to just basically be a 1-card Blue Eyes is also fantastic. I wouldn't change these. I wouldn't go down on any of them. You need to like max out on your names in order to consistently get to Spirit Dragon. And then the 2 Blue Eyes White Dragon. You don't really want to play any less than this. This gives you the maximum pops that you really want to see off of the trap card. You don't want to play 3 because that's bricky. You don't want to play 1 because you want to make sure it's always in rotation. You can sometimes slide down to 1. I do that sometimes. But there are a lot of games where the second one does come up. So yeah. That's all of the engine monsters. Next are onto the hand traps. I'm on triple Fuvalos, triple Droll. I explained this in my last video on Odeon. But these cards conflict, but they really don't. Because half the time you can just throw this out and they're going to negate it anyway. So that you can just roll them. So you can just go draw phase, Fuvalos. They're going to go, okay, Ash. And then you go main phase, they start to search, you droll them. Now they look like a fool. They just basically went like -1 for no reason. And Droll and Fuvalos are like the 2 best hand traps right now. They have to play into this, or else they're going to half board, and this deck's really good in half boards. And Droll makes them half board. So yeah, fantastic cards. This is also something new. I'm playing triple Nid. I'm starting to realize that Nib in combination with Droll is like the best combination, because when they half board, this is like usually the best card to go into. And a lot of cards or decks are choosing to play around Droll by going into the defensive package and just to smacks it. So yeah, I have really liked this card. This card is actually overperformed. Triple Ash. Ash stops their Charmies if you really have to stop them, and it's just the overall most generic hand trap. You want more ways to stop their quick play. That's also why we play 2 Ghost Spell. You want to maximize all your hand traps that you can play, because you want to make sure that every card in your hand is alive. That's one thing that makes this deck a little better in Mitsurugi, is that in decks like Mitsurugi and decks like Malice, you're kind of playing with like less cards in your hand. Instead of you playing like a 5-card hand, you're sometimes playing like a 3 or 4-card hand, especially in like the Mitsu Rise Fiendsmith deck. You're playing so many just like random awkward pieces that like you don't always have live cards. This deck kind of has that issue too, but it's not like as egregious, right? Like you can open up the trap card and then still pitch Maiden and activate it. So like having as many ways to stop them from playing, especially since you know that they're probably going to have like a 4 or 3-card hand technically, is very, very good. Because sometimes just ashing Ice is like a pass. Sometimes just belling or ashing prayers is just enough for them to like not end on everything they need. So yeah, Bell is like overperformed as well. Next are the Bestials. Bestials are very good right now, solely for the fact that one, you can just like hit their Mirakumo. Druisworm also isn't out to Detonator, which is a real problem for this deck. And Mag also gets you out of a lot of sticky situations because it searches your Ether Barrel, so it helps bridge your engines. These have been very good. I've been testing between 2 and 3 Ghost Bell. I don't know which one is more preferred. I think right now my list is on 41, 42. So I kind of want to stay away from like maxing out on everything. But having 3, 6, 9, 12, 14, 16 hand traps, 17 because the searchable Veiler, I think is fine. Maybe you can bump it and be up to 18. That's a pretty good number to be on. 18 is like usually up there. But yeah, I'm not really going to complain about which ones I have here. Veiler is also as a one of for multiple reasons. I know a lot of people are on 3. It's searchable. It isn't really the best, but having a searchable negate that they have to play through is very, very nice. Everyone just like ran into this, especially since like they basically have to use prayers during the draw phase to beat the Droll. Doing that just loses them to Veiler sometimes. So yeah, this non-engine just felt kind of perfect. Again, Bestials are just overperforming. A lot of the hand traps in this list were just overperforming. Next are the engine pieces. You have Triple Wishes, 1 white, 1 roar, and I'll pull out the True Light and the Majesties. I used to side out of Majesties, but I'm wanting to keep it in. I do side out of Wishes going first. Oh, sorry, going second. I'll side down to 1 because you don't really like the pitch, especially in the Mirakumo. That comes up a lot more than you think it would. That's an issue in the Mitsurugi deck as well, where when you're playing into Mirakumo, you don't want to activate cards like Wishes, and you don't want to activate cards like, what's it called? Summon Tachyon or Signet Mining, because you're basically just forcing yourself to neg for a search that like probably isn't going to like put you there. Maximizing card economy right now is very, very important. But yeah, these ratios I think are standard and shouldn't change. Next are the Primate cards. We finally have the 3rd Lord Reload. If you remember, my old profile is always way 2. We got them. We're finally on 3. 1 Drill Beam, 1 Prosby, and 1 Talent. I think Talent is a little better in Cold Buy right now, specifically in this deck, because since you're playing low to the ground, they're always going to half board, so Talents is always going to be a live card. Prosby is also very good because it helps search your deck for the top 6. And of course, it's not going to really matter if they droll you because this deck doesn't really care. There's like certain times, like I think only like 1 game I got drolled. I'm like, man, this kind of sucks. But even through droll, if you're playing this deck correctly, you're ending on a Spirit Dragon and passing, and it's usually under 4. And Spirit Dragon is sometimes like enough because you're playing so many hand traps, you're going to have interruption. Which I think is another big thing this deck has, is that in Mitsurugi, when you're getting drolled half the time, you're having so many times or so many hands, right? Where you have the 3 or 4 card hands, and you have the bricks, and then you have like the hand traps that like don't matter, or you don't have any hand traps at all, and you kind of have to make a detonator into a droll, and then they're just gonna, instead of them high rolling you, they're just gonna play how their deck normally functions, and they're gonna cook through the detonator anyway. I know it sounds like I'm kind of like shitting on Mitsu a lot, but I would like to say, as someone who's played them both, like the advantages and disadvantages are very, very apparent now. That's the main deck. Onto the extra deck. 2 Spirit Dragon, no need for the 3rd. 1 Moonlight Dragon, this card came in clutch a lot. Lightstorm. Lightstorm didn't come up as much as I wanted to. I just didn't really need to blow up back row, and sometimes holding the Spirit Dragon was just enough. Ancient Fairy Life Dragon has been insane, solely for the fact that it turns... it helps you just kill under Nib a lot better, which is very relevant. 1 Ultimate Dragon, you don't need to play multiples of this. And I don't play the big synchro package either. I think that's very unneeded. Like, you just don't want to like overextend into everything. 1 Vengeance Dragon. This card's crazy, especially since you're on multiple Nib. Because if you nib them, the body sticks, and then you normal summon out a Sage, you just make this hit the token, or just get rid of any problematic card. This card has been like overperforming. The 2 fusions, I kind of was thinking about playing 2 Tyrant Dragon, but I don't think it comes up enough. But again, the cards very much overperform. 2 Spirit Dragon. I haven't really needed the 3rd. I feel like that's something where like the more and more you play this deck, the 3rd might come up, but I'm gonna be real, I never go into the 2nd one anyway. This is usually like a banish off Prosby. 1 Herodic Sphere. You don't need multiples of this. There were sometimes the 2nd came up, but just gets you the engine. This is like usually like your plan B if you can't go into the Synchro. 1 Lina. This card doesn't come up as much, but there's a lot of plays where into Detonator, you need to make this and then crash to get into engine. Or like you just bait the SP, which is right here. And you just go into SP, try to out something, or use this as bait. Like this is just the most bait card. 1 Typhon, you're playing like 17 hand traps, so there's no reason to not play Typhon, right? Like you can like slow the game down. It outs Detonator. I don't think this card's as bad as people make it out to be. This card is like pretty good in this deck. This could literally be anything else as the flex spot, but I don't think it's awful. Now onto the side deck. This is where I was testing out a lot of theory. Triple Ansia. Obviously, you just don't want to lose to Malice. Same thing with Meows. Like, you want to turn that deck into a hand trap war. You're playing so many hand traps. You basically just side into, like, 26 plus the other ones. So, well, 6 plus 17, basically. So, you're going in. These are the other crazy cards I've been trying out. This is a side frame package. Basically, this is just a warning on turn 0, because when they try using their ritual spell, you can just delta it, and now they're done. And then Gamma is just the best hand trap in the game, like basically ever printed. So there's a lot of times that you Charmy them, and then if you draw into these, you win. Of course, you have to like play the brick, but I think it's fine, especially since you're playing cards like like the Prime package. So if it comes down to it, you can just go Lord Reload, Cold Driver, which is kind of funny. But yeah, these cards overperformed, and I would suggest trying them out. I will be making a video on these later. And then Triple Judgment and Harpies. Harpies is just for siding patterns. Like, you want to treat some of the decks this format like trap decks when you're playing into their half board. This solves that issue. And then Judgment is to side out the 3 Charmies going first into 3 Judgments. You want to play these over Warnings and Strikes, because you don't want to lose to breakers like Judgment, or to like random other cards. Like, a lot of people are playing cards like Harpies and Lightning Storm specifically for decks like this. This helps solve that problem. And having a Judgment plus a Drill Beam is just like good enough. But yeah, that's the entire deck profile. If you guys want to talk like theory or anything about these decks, let me know in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear you talk about it. I'm a big Blue Eyes fan right now. I'm kind of sold on this deck. I actually might play this deck at Nats, but I need to see how the format develops before I make that decision. I will be uploading a Nats video at some point in the future, just going over like everything that you need to know. But yeah, until then, thank you guys so much for watching, and peace out.